Dead by Dawn. Gárgolas en un pueblo norteño boricua. Las gárgolas salen en la noche con el boceteo a todo fuerte, bailando reggaetón y perreo hasta abajo, mientras que boricuas norteños se asustan de su mera presencia y el miedo se transfiere a través de la isla. OVNIs en Lajajas. People drive up and down those streets, across el pueblo, across el campo, and not always, but sometimes, they come across something they can't describe, some sort of cosmic transportation device they've only seen in TV and movies. Hay ovnis en Lajas, se dice por esos lares, pero nunca se pueden capturar. Lo más que se ha documentado es una que otra luz. The Sponge. That sponge is the work of the devil, preached Ted Wayne Berkowitz to his followers. That sponge dressed in colors and singing that rock and roll music is the devil's work. May God save you if you wish to follow that sponge and its television program. He continued to preach, but later at night his own children would consume the Devil Sponge's TV show. Two Horned Buddies. Two horned buddies scaring kids to bring back money. That was the story. They only had one job and they followed it through, but they turned devilish as soon as the preacher analyzed their work and preached about it in his congregation. Speedy the Hedgehog. Running at the speed of light, a fast blue mammal grabs victims by the face and drags them across the ground, ending up in corpses that he can later serve as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I, the Necromancer. I, the Necromancer, gathers his legions of goblins, demons, and orcs to accomplish his master's order of bringing chaos, death, and famine upon the realm of the men. There is no salvation. The time of the Demon King has come. A book with a skull on the cover. A book with a skull on the cover captures the attention of youth across the globe as it tells stories of betrayal, guilt, and paranoia involving kings and witches, but adults with agendas take over said books and try to burn them only to meet the witches' magic when they are burned to a crisp. The Beast of River Rocks. The streets are full of blood as rumors tell the story of a beast that haunts its prey after the party's over in the streets of River Rocks. No one knows where the creature comes from. No one even knows its form. Every morning they just find blood on the streets and a new victim just a few steps away. Acom the Vampire. Summoned to do his bidding in the west of Puerto Rico, Acom feasts upon his prey every single night. Some he treats with more care than others, which is why some will simply have two holes in their necks, while others will see or find their throats demolished. He doesn't care for those in the world of the living. He only wishes to complete his duty in order to be free of Satan's rule. Don Silverio and the House of 2,000 Ghouls. They say he would practice black magic, a sorcerer who would love his family but sacrifice their souls to the devil. Later on, there would be tales of horror that would come from his house, tales involving abuse, torture, and more. Screams for help would be the soundtrack to the actions taken inside that house on a hill. One day, a young man nicknamed Bebo visited his uncle Silverio, and he witnessed the torture, and the 2,000 ghouls manifested by the sorcerer. Fearing death, Bebo ran to his car, but it was burning, just like the house behind him, which was burning into another dimension due to Silverio's lack of control over the power that the devil had given him. Bebo survived to tell the tale, but he was deemed crazy by the country folk. Los silbidos de Don Javier. Él simplemente quería disfrutar de sus últimos años de vida, pero a 5 años de haber comprado esa casa de playa ya el señor había fallecido. Años después, cuando su hija se había casado y tenía hijos, los silbidos de Don Javier se escuchaban en esa casa de playa, especialmente en la noche, cuando ya el jolgorio del poblado se había calmado. La inevitable muerte de don José, el cazatesoros, debido a su inhabilidad de respetar a los muertos y lo que traen consigo. En ese terreno había cofres de comuertos, unos cofres descansaban en paz y otros no muy bien. Estos otros, por lo regular, iban acompañados de amuletos y mementos que le recordarían de todas aquellas personas que le deseaban algún mal. Por eso, cuando don José quiso excavar por esos cofres, se llevaba sorpresas, desde tesoros a elementos sentimentales, pero cuando trató de excavar por los cofres de los otros, se llevó una sorpresa que jamás esperó. Una sorpresa que eventualmente lo llevó a la muerte, ya que fue atacado por abejas en un lugar donde no había abejas. Abejas que le hicieron caer al piso, donde ya lo esperaban, los cien pies, las ratas y cucarachas, para comérselo de un cantazo. An unholy matrimony. Monsters and Astro Man would come together in feasts after the young Astro Prince would marry the fiendish Monster Prince, in a matrimony deemed as a satanic rite by the preacher Ted Wayne Berkowitz. The Lady in the Blue Dress. The lady in the blue dress would visit the child every now and then in different forms at different locations. Sometimes it would be his home, sometimes it would be on vacation, sometimes her face was all white and blurry, sometimes she would show her blue eyes. But one thing was for sure, she would always wear the blue dress, with her long blonde hair covering her down to her breasts. The lady in the blue dress would never speak. She would never try to haunt or scare the young child, but he would always notice her sitting with her legs crossed and some bruises on her neck. Perhaps those crossed legs and bruises told the story, he would later ask himself as an adult. But he never really knew. He only saw her around 5 to 6 times between his childhood and his teens. To this day, he draws and paints her constantly, in many forms, trying to find answers as to the existence of the lady in the blue dress. Guaya, the Queen Ghost, and her Orquesta Macabra. On the shores of a southern town of Boriken, you will see her partying with her people, Guaya, the Queen Ghost. Do not be afraid of her, for she loves to boogie down all night long with her Orquesta Macabra, singing and dancing to funny records of the past combined with dembow, reggaeton, and perreo tunes of most recent generation. Look at her and her fiends of the night lighting up the coasts that continue to be struck by Mother Nature's force. The Crabmen of Santurce. They hide beneath the sewers and only take what food they can when they travel to nearby beaches or when they come out and scavenge through the trash. Their inception? A mad scientist's ambition of fusing crab and man. The result? A mad scientist continues to be respected all over the world while they must live under the world of men. Revenge? It has all been talked about, but never really considered. For now, the crabmen of Santurce simply live in the sewers, hoping to never be discovered due to man's fear of the unknown. The Sharkmen of Guardilla. Surfers lost at sea, adapting to life at sea, fusing with nearby shark communities, becoming hunters of whatever blood they find at sea, even their once fellow surfers. The Sharkmen of Guardilla travel across Boriken waters, feasting upon any source of food they find, slowly forgetting their humanity. The epic battle of Caro the Giant versus Moro the Titan. Not too long ago, Caribbean folk witnessed the rise and battle of two Goliaths that came from the Isle of Boriken. From the depths of the eastern coasts rose Caro the Giant, a deity made up of ocean properties. And from the countryside mountains rose Moro the Titan, a colossus assembled by the forces of earth and flora. Together the two creatures brought forth chaos and destruction as they fought each other for the throne of apex predator across the Caribbean seas. The Flying Fishmen. The flying fishmen fly across towns, decapitating humans of all forms and take them to their children. Some families destroyed while others feast on the dead. Tears spread across the winds, Joy spread across the sea. The flying fishmen ravaging across small towns never to be discovered or reported by big media corporations. The soul sucking pirates of the Caribbean. Once in the past, they traveled across Caribbean seas. Now in the present, they feast upon the fear of others, slowly consuming their souls, becoming rulers of the sea and the land of the living. With each and every man, woman, and child soul they devour. They've lost their humanity. Now they're just soldiers from hell, following orders from devil kings looking to take down the world of man. Surfer zombie dudes. Surfer zombie dudes see them ride waves all night long after losing their lives to Mother Nature's force. No, these are not souls lost to the hands of sharkmen or soldiers from the devil. They simply lost their lives doing what they loved most, catching perfect waves each and every day. Surfer zombie dudes riding waves to the end of times till their fragile bodies can't ride anymore. Surfer zombie dudes dancing to the sweet sounds of Man or Astro Man as they catch the perfect wave each and every night in this new found life. The little extraterrestrial bulls. In the mountains of Cayey, there lived a couple of little bulls who were one day taken away by extraterrestrial and gave them the power to create some of the best and most danceable reggaeton ever made. Once brought back home, they, now self-titled Little Extraterrestrial Bulls, made it their mission to conquer the world of music while bringing joy to the rest of the world. The Wolfmen from Atorrey. For years, they've blasted reggaeton across Atorrey streets, making residents happy and visitors angry. The only wolfmen accepted amongst the world of men, yes, beloved they've been, but lately their lives have been at stake as more and more visitors carry silver and are not afraid to use it. The ghastly phantoms from Las Tetas de Calle. On the top of Las Tetas de Calle, there is a duo of ghastly phantoms every night performing to the souls of those lost on La Cuesta de la Norte. Two lionhead scientists. On the deserted lands of Ponce, on top of El Castillo Serrayes, two lionhead scientists conduct wild experiments, the type of experiments that were conducted on them, fusing the bodies of men with the bodies of animals, all while giving them an overdose of reggaeton into the system that will stay with them as they continue to expand their army of half man, half animal soldiers. Frank Kong de Gorilla. I give you Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. Carl Denham from Peter Jackson's King Kong. Rumors, stories, tales tell that hidden in the countryside of Trujillo Alto, one can hear the war cries and celebratory reggaeton and rap tunes of Frank Kong de Gorilla, an escapee of the Maya West Zoo that now lives within the few pieces of nature found between Trujillo Alto, Carolina, and other metro areas. The townsfolk often hear him. Some just want to capture him, others want to kill him. But all those who try the latter end up with broken skulls and limbs. He never wanted any of this, but he'll do what's needed in order to survive. The Seven Holy Men and the Power of Reggaeton Rabbit. And on they wandered, the seven holy men, trying to save their lands from the so-called evil of reggaeton music, until one day they faced Reggaeton Rabbit, a three-eyed reggaeton dancing rabbit whose contagious sounds and dance easily captured the seven holy men and brought them to the side of the so-called evil of reggaeton music. Not even their holy swords, shields, books, or grenades could stop the infectious sounds of the reggaeton rabbit. The tragic death of an illusionist. Many would gather for his shows, and the children would awe with wonder. However, after his work was deemed black magic by the church and the priests, many would deem him devilish. Thus, he would no longer find any form of income. He couldn't even practice his illusions without being spat in his face. Nevertheless, the illusionist would continue to practice at his home, in his lonesome. Eventually, the birth of the seventh art came about, and he saw a new way to bring forth his gifts, and so he did. He did a few short works on film, thereby helping the field of special effects. However, this too was called devil magic by the church, and the illusionist would eventually have to flee for his life. But his running was cut short, as the crowds would ultimately capture him and stone him to death in the front of the very cinemas he would try to help gain a following. Attack of the Mutant Guanabana. She thought she wanted to eat guanabana throughout the whole week, but later she found it was not meant to be, and there it lay, waiting to be eaten away, slowly losing form, slowly becoming rot. And upon realization of the current situation, the fruit decided to stay alive, so it spread itself wide, sharing fungi with other fruits, saying goodbye to all that was good. And after a week, when the lady came back, the guanabana had hacked the fridge from front to back, and as she tried to throw it away, it consumed her as prey, and later expanded to the rest of her home, this becoming his own imperial Rome. Invasion of the nuclear mutant iguanas. They come from the bowels of radioactive factories all across the globe and choose a small Caribbean island as their home base. They are the giant mutant iguanas, creatures never before seen by man, but often killed across the streets and highways of Boriken. However, when one dies, 5 are given life, and they continue to spread all across the archipelago, looking to multiply more and more before they can continue to conquer other forms of flora across the globe, and eventually man's creations, thus taking sweet, sweet revenge upon those who've killed so many of their kind and made them the mutants they are today. Noche de Frituras, or Dead by Dawn, Muerto al Amanecer. Dead by dawn, muerto al amanecer, muerto al amanecer. Gritaban las frituras desde la empanadilla hasta la alcapurria y el rellenito, mientras bailaban bugalú dentro de un pequeño bohío de la concha sangermeña, en esa noche de frituras, en esa noche de brujas, antes de que fueran consumidas por otros seres vivientes la siguiente mañana.